Aw, shit. Here we go again. Welcome to the Sloppy Book Club podcast. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Celese.
And we're now on episode 12?
Yes. Finally.
Awesome. I know.
It's been a while for us, seeing each other.
I know.
We've been doing our last, 2 episodes on Zoom. And then we had to postpone this particular episode. Just work obligations and just life becoming too overwhelming and crazy.
Yes, lots going on.
A lot going on. But we're back. We have an exciting episode tonight or today or whenever you're listening to us. But this week, so episode 12, we're really excited about it. We're going to, review a wine. I have my little mocktail with me. We're going to be talking about favorite book tropes. And then we're going to be diving into the story Defy the Night by...
No, I'm going to let you say it because I want you to say her name.
No, because I always butcher...
Yep, go ahead.
Brigid,
yeah.
Kemmerer.
Kemmerer. By Brigid Kemmerer, yes.
You see what she does to me?
I cannot wait for her to say that name. So yes, Defy the Night by Brigid Kemmerer.
I'm terrible with names, and I'm a teacher, which doesn't help the process. I'm so sorry.
It's hilarious, and I enjoy it.
So hopefully other people enjoy it. I'm pretty sure the authors do not when I butcher their names or their character names, so I apologize. It's not for the lack of trying. Just my mouth can't form certain syllables and letter sounds. Like, I don't know what's up with me.
She does do a lot of practicing.
I do practice. I do. Because I don't want to sound crazy, but I wind up always sounding crazy.
Yes.
But anyway, we're going to be diving into that book. I enjoyed it. How do you feel about it? Okay. So we won't go too deep just yet. Let's talk about our drinks first. Let's start off the evening or your day the right way with a nice drink, whether it's water, coffee, whatever your heart's desire. We usually do a mocktail and wine. So, Jenny, what wine do you have?
So, I have Peach Bay.
And what was that? That's what you get.
So, I was trying to read the name of the wine and I messed it up and then read the name of the winery. So it's Plymouth Bay Winery, and the wine is Peach Bay. It's a white wine, and I already know I'm going to hate it.
Because you're not a fan of peach, right?
I'm not. I like peach. I just, from the look of it, it looks a little cloudy. It's not very clear, so I don't know if I'm going to like it. Oh my god.
That face says it all.
It smells so bad. This is off the moment I put the cup to my mouth. Oh, this is so bad. Oh, that's horrible.
Oh my god.
I knew I wasn't gonna like it. It's all good.
But what's your second drink here?
So I love Trulies.
We
do. This week I bought a new one that came out. My husband corrected me. It's not the margarita ones. It's like the poolside package. And right now I'm drinking the strawberry melon fizz. So I'm going to stick with that because that wine is awful.
Oh my word.
Sorry.
It does look very, very cloudy. Does it not taste like peach? Like what?
Oh, you get the aftertaste of peach, but that first, I wish you could taste it. That first
Let me smell it.
stench is not good at all. I don't like it. Maybe
No.
Okay, good. It's not me.
No. Is it spoiled?
I hope
Can wine get spoiled?
No,
That doesn't...
No. I don't
No,
think so.
It's cloudy and that smell... No way.
I don't
know.
know.
No.
So, we're just gonna put that away.
Okay, well, hopefully mine is okay. Mine is a mocktail, non-alcoholic strawberry mojito. It has muddled strawberries, mint, honey, lime juice, and I muddled that. And then I have it with some ice, some sparkling water, and a splash of Sprite. So hopefully it's refreshing and nice. It's been sitting here for a minute.
It looks very cute. I watched her make it. I hope she likes it.
It just tastes like flavored water.
Oh, that's boring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like diluted strawberry water, like sparkling strawberry water.
Maybe you should have
maybe more honey or something, or more Sprite.
Yeah.
It's definitely minty. It's definitely refreshing. It's almost like, you know how you go to a spa and they have like cucumber water kind of thing? Imagine that with strawberry and mint, basically.
Okay. Well, I drink a lot of cucumber and mint water.
So if you want diffused water, this is great.
Okay. Good to know.
Put it together.
Cool.
Great for the summertime.
I know.
Great for tomorrow. It's going to be so hot tomorrow. So,
I know.
Well, for us.
Because today is Friday.
Yeah.
And tomorrow is Saturday for us.
Yeah. So that's going to be, I might make that just to be like outside and stay, nice and cool. All right. So those were our drinks. I will continue drinking mine because it's very refreshing. Jenny's moving on to Truly because the wine of her choice was just not there. And now we're going to be going into our favorite book tropes.
Yes.
But Jenny has a great little collection of different kinds of book tropes. If you don't know what it is, she's going to give you a list of different ones and even some book recommendations to go along with it, which is nice. So Jenny, hit us off.
All right. So the most infamous, Enemies to Lovers.
Gotta love it.
We all love that one. And I put just 2 examples where you can find that. Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. And Fireheart by Emma Hamm. They both have those in there. I'm not going to go too deep into these books because we have talked about them. A lot of them, or they're on our Instagram as well.
Right.
Let's see. We have Enemies with Benefits. That's always a fun one. That's always one.
I don't think I've ever had one. Enemies with Benefits.
Wretched by Emily McIntyre. That's a good one.
Is it?
Yes. You should read it.
I'm going to have to.
Yeah. It's part of the Never After series. There's 3 of them. That's the 3rd one.
Okay.
It's a fun one. There's Friends to Lovers.
I love Friends to Lovers.
I do too, but
I feel like it's so romantic. Like it's...
Yeah. So the only one I could think of off the top of my head was Shadow and Bone. Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Let's see. The Who Did This To You trope. I love that one. That kind of goes...
I'm gonna kill you.
Yes.
Who touched you?
Who Did This To You? The Mix Up by Eve Marion. Forced Proximity.
Oh,
I love that one.
Do you have Forced Proximity and Sharing One Bed? Was that one? Or
no, I don't have that one on here.
I mean, Forced Proximity and Sharing One Bed, that's kind of like the same thing.
Same thing, yeah. Pretty much. So I put E.J. Mello, Yes, of the Burning Sea. They're stuck on the same ship together.
Yes.
Forbidden Love, Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller.
Can't go wrong with Romeo and Juliet.
I love it. Fake Relationship.
Oh, I love that. Fake relationships, fake dating. I love it.
Yes, The Spanish Love Deception is a good one. That's a pretty popular one. Mistaken Identity. I just finished reading this one. Fate of Wrath and Flame. What else do we have? We have Opposites Attract, or From Different Worlds kind of thing. The Population series by Elizabeth Stevens. The Fated Mates.
Aww.
You can literally find that in any book. The example I chose was The Very Mates series by Elizabeth Stevens. Slow Burn.
I love Slow Burn.
I know. You could literally find that anywhere. Anywhere you have Enemies to Lovers.
Yes.
Right? You will find Slow Burn. And then Found Family.
Oh,
that's a cute one. I know. It's a very mushy one, though. But you could find that in a lot. Isle of the Immortals. I think. No, Defy the Night doesn't have that one. I don't know why.
Family?
No,
not
right?
really. No.
I had another one in my head and it just disappeared. So yeah.
Found Family. I feel like I read something recently, but it's not coming to mind.
Same. Yeah, I know. It's going to bother me Maybe I'll put it in the comments.
Yes,
Post
it.
It's a book just came to mind, but yeah, whatever. So what are your favorites, or do you have any extra from that list?
I don't have extra, but Enemies to Lovers is my ultimate, like, any book with Enemies to Lovers, I'm gonna love it just for the like that animosity and tension that they have, but they like each other, but then they hate each other, which could bring those steamy scenes or spicy scenes, make the fights even better. The banter, oh my god, the back and forth,
it's wonderful.
You can't. I also like the moments where they realize they're in love with that person and they're trying to deny it and coming up with like those excuses as to like why they shouldn't be together or why they don't like them. Like, to me, those are like the cutesy kind of moments, and the like denial of it. But I really love Enemies to Lovers. I think it
makes me mad though.
It's like, you like each other,
just
like
right.
It's like, just kiss.
Just touch her.
Right. You're gonna do it. Just do it now. But then that tension, that build up, the suspense of it. That's why I love my Enemies to Lovers.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that has become my favorite, because I used to really like Friends to Lovers. It was very cutesy, but I think Enemies to Lovers. Plus, you get all of the other slow burns, forced proximity, because they don't want to be near each other and they have to be. So I think that's probably my favorite.
Oh, one book trope is sharing the horse or something. Like,
it's
like
a good book for that is Isle of the Immortal, for sure.
They have to share the one horse.
Yeah, one horse trope.
So that's a good one. Which, Enemies to Lovers, I feel like, is a little bit of Defy the Night. This is where it gets confusing, because it's a Friends to Lovers, but it's also Enemies to Lovers.
Yes.
And we'll explain more when we go into explaining Defy the Night. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It reminded me... it kind of reminded me a little bit of Rhysand and Farah a little bit in her finding out who he is kind of thing, and him, coming off as like the bad guy, but really he's just trying to help his people.
Yeah. I see that.
So that's where I get a little bit of that Enemies to Lovers kind of thing. Okay. But then on the other side of it, where I get the Rhysand and Farah was the Enemies to Lovers kind of dynamic. And then the Friends to Lovers, it's like, oh my god,
I know,
I love them.
It's such a good mix of the two.
It really is. And it's the same characters, which makes it so much better. So let's go into it. So Defy the Night is about Tessa and Wes, basically, at first. And their homeland
it's go ahead. Okay, I'll say it. I think it's Kandala.
Okay.
I think.
But isn't there...
It's Kandala. I spelled it out. Kandala.
Okay.
Kandala. I think Kandala sounds better than Kandala.
Yeah. Kandala.
I don't know.
Yes. But basically it's where they live. Like
it's the kingdom.
The kingdom has a plague and sickness where people are dying from a fever. And I think that's basically it, like a fever, right? It's like a cough with a fever. It's like a plague. There's not really a name for it. It's not like chickenpox or something. It's just like you come down with, first it's a cough, and then there's a fever, and then you're dead, basically. Correct. So it's a huge sickness that's plaguing their land, and the two main characters are basically like outlaws. It's Tessa and Wes. And what they've been doing is there is a cure, kind of. It's a flower, and you have to kind of make like an elixir for it. And this is what helps people, not get the sickness, or if you do have the sickness, it helps you.
Yeah, it like helps relieve the fever that you can get better.
Right. The problem, they're outlaws because this flower and this elixir, basically, or medicine, is super expensive. Mm-hmm. And the only people who have been able to afford it are the rich people. And they're buying it by, like, the bundles. So even if you were poor and you were saving up money, sometimes there's just not enough because the rich have, like, overtaken it. Right. So this is causing a rebellion with the, amongst the poor. They're like, the rich people are able to live, all of us are dying, and our king really isn't helping us. So they're mad at the king. So what they've been doing is they've been going into the royal sector and stealing, the moonflower petals. They've been stealing it and making the medicine for it. Some people are stealing it and, like, profiting off of it. So they're, like, not even really helping the people. They're profiting off of it. Tessa and Wes don't ask for anything. They're literally there just to help the poor. They just want to help out.
They're basically like Robin Hood.
Yes.
Steal from the rich to give to the poor. They're not taking it for themselves. They're just helping everybody else.
Whereas the other people, the rebellion, like the people part of the rebellion, it's for themselves or to make a profit or, like, get something out of it. Whereas Wes and Tessa, they're not like that. So Tessa lost her parents to Night Watch?
So the Night Patrol, her parents were doing the same thing Tessa and Wes are doing now. They basically are going into the kingdom or the palace area to take the
royal sector.
Yeah, the royal sector, to take the petals to help their neighbors, the people who live, like, out in the wilds that are very poor. And they were caught one night and were killed by the Night Patrol.
Because the Night Patrol knows, like, if they see you at night, it's because, like, you're up to no good. So her parents were killed, and Tessa would have been killed if it hadn't been for Wes, who kind of, like, saw what was happening and kind of, like, covered her mouth and brought her into the woods before she could react and before the Night Patrol can actually see. So he wound up helping her, and then from then on, they built, like, this really good friendship. So I want to say, like, the rebellion was starting to peak, and more people were starting to go into the royal sector to steal the moonflowers. And it was causing trouble between Tessa and Wes because Wes is like, oh, we should slow down. We shouldn't be doing this right now. And that was a nice little...
Yum, yum.
a nice little opening. And so it was getting to be a little bit crazy. He's like, we're going to get caught. We shouldn't be doing this right now. I think even Tessa got hurt at some point, and that's why she couldn't go over. Because you basically have to climb a wall. There's a huge wall that's blocking the wilds where the poor people live and the royal sector. So Wes is like, we should really just stop. And she was like, no, we have to do this. We have to help the people. And so he was like, okay, you stay behind, get, the bottles ready, the water boiling, so that when I bring the flowers, we can start making the medicine. So he goes, and
he doesn't come back.
And she hears the alarms go off. When they find someone, the alarms go off, and basically, he's like the right hand of the king. He kind of makes an example out of you.
Yeah, the king's justice.
And his name is Prince Corrick. Yeah. And the king is King Harrison?
Harrison.
Yes, and they're brothers.
Yes.
And their story is the King Harrison and Prince Corrick, they became part of the royal, like, they came to power because their parents were assassinated by the consul who basically turned their back on them.
Yeah, so like the consuls, there's what, like 7 of them?
They're like advisors of different
of their
sectors.
Own section, their own area, and their parents were killed by one of these consuls who turned their back on them or didn't like them and wanted to rule. So they were overpowered and they were killed, which kind of pushed Prince Corrick and King Harrison into power.
And what's sad is, like, their parents were kind of loved by the people.
Yeah, they were.
And everyone liked them, even though, you know, the sickness was happening, you know, they were still loved by the people. Right. And I think the consul got mad at the fact that, hey, we're dying. And I think they wanted to protect everyone. And, you know, the rich are like, no, these poor people don't need the medicine. We need it. We need to hoard it. Right. So they got mad at his parents and wound up assassinating them, which turned Corrick and Harrison to become kind of like the mean king and, you know,
right hand.
Yeah,
they were like pressured.
They were pressured to like be mean, make examples of people who were stealing the moonflowers,
execute them.
So they were brutal. Nope. And when you're like that and you're not helping the poor, you're making more enemies than friends.
Right.
So not only do they have enemies within the consul, but now your people don't even back you up either.
Right.
Especially when you're killing them. And you're killing them because they're just trying to live. Like, they're trying to find, you know, the flowers to survive. Right. They're desperate.
Just so you have, like, a good idea as to what a difference that they're all being treated. So the poor people or regular people who live in the wilds, like, outside of the kingdom, are being rationed, right? Like, they're just given little bits, maybe portions. 1 dose per day or something, while the kingdom, everyone, the consuls, the richer people are all taking, like, 3 to 4 times the dose that they actually need.
Yeah, they take it, like, 3 times, 4 times a day. Whereas the poor people can only, if they can afford it, they can only afford 1 dose.
Right.
So imagine you have a family of 4, and you could only, you know, afford 1 dose. Who do you give it to?
Right.
So that's basically what they're battling. So desperate times calls for desperate measures, and that's why the rebellion's happening. People are stealing. So Prince Corrick and the king, people don't like them. So Wes, he doesn't come back. Tessa's like, oh my God.
She's flipping out.
She's like, this is, you know, basically my best friend. They kind of, you know, it's that slow burn where, you know, they want to be more than friends, but they don't want to ever have to, if they get caught, ever have to rat on each other. So Wes and Tessa have never seen each other's faces.
Never. I loved that part.
They always wore a mask when they were together, and they, you know, they gave each other fake names. Well, Tessa didn't.
Tessa gave her real name.
Wes didn't. So that if they were ever caught, they couldn't, you know, they couldn't rat each other out, which was, I thought was like kind of sweet.
It is. I absolutely love that relationship. Right in the beginning, you feel like their little flirting and kind of like their banter here and there. She says, I hate you, but you know, she really loves him.
Yeah. So when those alarms go off, she knows something's wrong. Yeah. And in the same token, Prince Corrick is being pushed to be more brutal. He's like, hey, more people, the council is like, more people are coming and stealing our flowers. They're raiding the carriages that have all the moonflowers. you need to do something.
Mind you, this is mostly one consul, Alexander.
Yeah, Alexander.
They're all doing it, but Alexander's like the weasel.
He is the weasel because not only does he have the moonflowers, but he ups the prices up to the king.
Yeah.
Like the taxes.
Because he's the one who grows, him and another sector grow the moonflower.
It's the only place that has soil that can basically have it grow. So there's only two places that can grow these flowers, and every time something happens, they raise the taxes or the price of it. So soon, even the king isn't gonna be able to afford it, and the consul's gonna be richer than the freaking king because of how much taxes they're doing. So he's like, hey, my carriages are getting raided. What are you gonna do about it? So Korik is like, he has to be more barbaric and brutal and making examples. And what we know is that Korik doesn't want to do that. Like, one, he never wanted to be basically this, right-hand man to the king. Mm-hmm. He never wanted to kill people, but he doesn't want his brother's hands to get dirty. So he's like, I'll do it. I'll be the brutal one. I'll be the one that people really hate so that eyes aren't on my brother. And he also doesn't want the eyes on the king because the king has been sick all his life. Yes. And he fears that he's going to one day get the sickness, and then who's going to take over? It would have to be him. And he does not want to be king. No. So he was like, all eyes on me. Don't look at my brother who's coughing over here in the corner. I'll do what I have to do. So the last person that they catch, they make an example out of him. They hang him over the wall. They take his eyes out, and they keep his mask on, and the birds are chipping away at his body.
It's so sad.
And it's Wes.
Yeah. And
Tessa sees him that way, and she's like, this is my fault. What am I gonna do? So her crazy self is like, I'm gonna go into the royal sector
and murder the king.
And try and murder the king.
Yep.
This girl makes it into the castle basically before she gets caught. But when she gets caught, she's like, what the fuck did I just do? How did
It was very fast. She got in there. She followed people in. Made it into the servant area.
Yes, and hid in the closet.
In the freaking closet.
She hid in the closet for a couple hours, I think.
Mind you, she knew that somebody saw her. One of the servants saw her.
So she hides in this closet for God knows how long. And she's like, what the fuck did I just do? Because, she's not in the right state of mind. She just saw Wes's body. Mm-hmm. She's just she's just out of it. She's so stupid.
And she actually got in there because she was asking her boss or whatever that if she can deliver that day's elixir to the somebody in the console or something. Yeah. So that's how she got into the actual royal area. Yeah. And then just slipped right into the castle.
Right in. Yeah. But I thought it was so funny that she hid in the closet, and then it was she was like, how long have I been in here?
Dummy.
So then she finally gets out, and then she was like, oh, I'm in the palace. Maybe I can find moonflowers in here. Let me look. So now she's not even thinking about killing the king. She's just thinking about getting moonflowers. And she gets caught.
She sure does.
So then she gets caught. She's brought to the king and to Prince Korik, and if I'm not mistaken, she gets arrested.
She gets caught, and one of the consuls, one of the women, Lisa, or whatever, is in there.
Yes.
And she's arguing with one of the guards, saying we should just let her go. She's not a threat. She's just some girl. Just let her go. And then Prince Korik shows up. And he's like, well, I can't just let her go. I'm going to take her to the hold. And she's like, no, don't do it. So he finally says, fine, fuck it. I'm not going to take her to the hold. I'm going to take her to my room.
Because that particular consul, she's, what do you call it when there's a rebellion and she has like empathy or sympathy for the poor people. She was like, these people are desperate. Right. You know, they're not coming here and stealing just to steal. Like, some of them really are just trying to survive, and we should be helping them, and we're not. So she's kind of, you know, sensitive to the fact of, you know, these rebels and these outlaws. Like, she
even said, like, I'll take the ones that you imprisoned to my sector. Mm-hmm.
She's like, I will take your rebels, your outlaws, I'll take them, and I'll, you know, we'll do what we need to with them, but don't kill them. So when Tessa shows up and, you know, usually whoever gets into the palace, they automatically assume you're going to kill the king. So she was supposed to be like beheaded. Yep. And she was supposed to get killed. And instead she doesn't. And they send her to Corric's room. And what do we find out, Jenny?
It was so exciting. So she's like tied up. She's got blindfolds on or whatever. And she can hear Prince Coric behind her. And he says, "Mind your mettle, Tessa." Mm-hmm. When he said that, my heart dropped. So, the reason I say that is because way in the beginning, when Wes talked to Tessa, he said the same thing to her. So, when Prince Coric said it to Tessa, you knew right away it was Wes.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm so happy that Wes and Coric was the same person.
Me too.
Because at first, when I think Wes is dead, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I was really, really upset about it. Because it almost gave me, like, Hunger Game vibes. I don't know if you ever read Hunger Games.
Never.
So, Katniss and her best friend, Gale, they kind of were, like, the outlaws of their district. Mm-hmm. So they would go out into the wilderness. Like, the fence that was supposed to, like, block them off never really worked. It was like an electrical fence, and they would go out into the woods and they would hunt for food and, you know, do those kinds of things. So I got that Katniss, like, Gale relationship from it. So I'm like, oh my god, that's like if Gale died, you know, in the beginning of Hunger Games. Mm-hmm. Everyone loved Gale. Not necessarily towards the end of Hunger Games, but in the beginning, everyone loved Gale and Katniss, okay? So with that being said, I'm like, wait, I don't want her to be with anyone else. And in my mind, I'm like, watch her be with Coric, since it's, you know, they're both perspectives in the story, you know, it's their point of view. So I'm like, obviously they're going to end up together. And I'm just like, but I don't want it because I want her to be with Wes, which is kind of how you feel when Katniss and Peeta get together. You're at first, you're like, no, she's supposed to be with Gale, but then it works out. But whatever. So I got like that Hunger Games vibe. Okay. So then when we find out Coric and Wes are the same person, I'm like, okay, he's alive. But that's not how she felt.
Nope,
she was pissed. Yes. She couldn't believe that Coric, this brutal killer,
was the same person
as Wes. So she had very conflicting feelings. And I felt that.
So did I.
I felt that too. Because it's like, what? Like, you're happy Wes is really alive, but now you're like, but Coric is just like this bad person. Or made to believe that he's this bad person, but really he just doesn't want to do this anymore, and he's forced to.
It's the pressure of you're getting it from like the consuls to like be more brutal to the poor people, but you want to help your poor people because people actually used to love them when they were younger. So,
and that's where I get that Rhysand and Feyre ride, because Rhysand, you know, when he's in the Night Court and under the mountain, those people fear him. Yeah. He's you know, he's brutal, he's mean, he's vindictive, but then when he's, you know, in Valeris, he's this amazing, you know,
people love him.
Amazing king, but he has like those two sides. So that's where I get that Coric Rhysand kind of like vibe. So we find out Wes and Corrick are the same person. And Corrick, just has to prove himself to Tessa. Like, I'm not this person. I really do want to help, the people. I just don't know how to do it because I'm being pulled in so many different directions that I don't know what to do. So Tessa is there to kind of help him. And in the process, he kind of is messing up his relationship with his brother, the king.
Yeah. And
the king is like, hey, are you doing something against me? Like, be honest, because I don't understand your relationship with Tessa because he's protecting her.
Mm-hmm. But also that weasel, Alexander, was putting things in his head. But
rightfully so, kind of, because it was like, if he was truthful to his brother, just been honest with his brother, I feel like it would have saved so much trouble between everyone. That was getting frustrating.
Like, the main thing that I got out of this book, these two brothers kind of rivaling against each, like, they loved each other a lot, but neither of them really spoke their true feelings to each other, which totally made them clash, and which made Harrison kind of believe Alexander that Corrick may have been doing something kind of fishy.
Yep. So he was like, maybe doing treason or whatever. So Tessa's like, okay, the only way we can help the people is by being outlaws again. Yes. So I don't know what's wrong with Tessa, but this got me mad too. She was like, let's leave the royal sector and go back into the wilds and be the outlaws that we are. And
she just wanted her Wes. She wanted her Wes.
I understand that, but it was like, girl, there's so much going on. The rebels have been getting closer and closer to the royal sector. Yeah, they're bombing like
the prison or whatever.
They bombed the prison and got some prisoners out. There was Lachlan, who was one of the head rebels who escaped. Yeah. So you got rebels who escaped. You got people bombing the royal palace, and you're like, oh, let's
go back.
Let's go back and escape. Guess what happens?
Oh my god.
They get caught.
They do get caught.
Because Lachlan knows Corrick's face and his voice, and he's like, I know you from somewhere. Yep. Oh yeah, you're the one who fucking broke my arms when you sent me to the hold. He was like, you're not Wes, you're Prince Corrick. So what does he do? He gets all the townspeople to beat his ass.
Yep. I was so mad at that though. Like, I was mad that once again, Tessa put Wes into like a situation. But all these people knew him. And I get it. He was Corrick and everybody feared him, whatever. But they all knew him. Like, he took care of them. He helped them. He healed them.
And that was the only way Tessa could get them to stop beating his ass. Was like, remember Timmy? I helped
little Timmy.
Little Timmy. That wasn't really a character, but basically just think about that. It was like, Timmy, remember when you were sick? Wes did this for you. Hey, Johnny, remember when your roof was broken?
There was like 3 pages of that. Like, he was like calling people out, saying, remember this, which finally it kind of had them stopping.
But then the royal court shows up, and they're like, Prince Corrick, what are you doing here? And he all beat up, and the king sends him to the hold, because he's like, what is my brother doing with the outlaws? Right. And he's beat up, like, what's going on? So they both sent to the hold. Finally, Corrick comes clean to his brother, and he's like, I don't want to... No, he doesn't tell him that he doesn't want to do this anymore. Tessa tells him. Yeah. She was like, your brother really doesn't want to be this person anymore. It's killing him every time he slits someone's throat or has to kill someone. Like, it's killing him inside, and he's doing it for you, so you don't have to do it.
But again, Corrick isn't being honest.
Exactly. Like, neither one of them.
Oh, that got me so mad.
So then... King Harrison.
Where'd you get that L
I
from?
don't know. I'm falling apart here. Harrison.
Call him Harry.
Yeah. King Harry.
King Harry.
Basically, it's like, okay, so he doesn't want to be the king's justice anymore, so I'm not going to call upon him anymore. Mm-hmm. And Prince Korg is like, my brother doesn't want to see me. He's like, what do I do? So finally, they talk it out. You know, they finally figure out where they went wrong in their relationship. Yes. And as soon as that happens, Tessa realizes that he's been getting fake medicine. Yes. Because when they're having like this disagreement, he has like a coughing fit. And she looks down at the table to make him like a potion. Because she's really good about, you know, knowing flowers and herbs and making things out of it.
Because her dad was an apothecary. Yes. That's how she knows.
So she knew like, oh, if I put this flower and this herb together, it will help with his cough. And she's like, she sees what looks like a moonflower, but it's not. And then she's realizing like, hey, I think someone has been using fake, basically moonflowers as medicine. And he's been using it. So he hasn't been getting, you know, the proper doses he's supposed to, and probably other people haven't really been getting it. And they only get their medicine from two places, which is Alexander, right? Alexander, and who was it's
Martin? It's not Lissa, is it? Lissa Marpetta?
I think it is Marpetta, because I think
there were
Ariella. I think she's the
oh, she was the sympathizer.
Yeah, the sympathizer.
So yeah, then it was Lissa, who also grows moonflower. Right.
So they have been helping with the rebellion, like funding it, so that they can get more money from the king. So they're like, oh, you know, come after this carriage, and I'll give you moonflower for you know, for your medicines and stuff. But they haven't been getting moonflower. They've been getting these fake flowers that look like moonflower. And they don't even, and the royal sector has been getting it too, and they haven't been knowing.
So they're making money, and they're not even like giving them real moonflower.
Exactly. So it's a whole corruption, and it's crazy. Mm-hmm. And I believe it ends.
This is when she figures out that the moonflower, the petals are not real. This is when the palace gets attacked by the rebellion as well. Mm-hmm. Or at least that's what they think.
At the same time. Yes. So, like, King Harrison has to, like, leave the palace. Prince Korg has to leave. Like, everyone has to leave and hide. And they actually go into the wilds to hide.
Back to the workshop.
Back to the workshop where they first got caught. Yeah. And they have to come up with a plan to be like, okay, how can we stop the rebellion? Mm-hmm. So King Harrison is like, okay, what if we promise a moonflower, like the real flower, and hopefully we can come to, like, you know, understanding of, like, okay, you get, I think they get it for like 8 weeks for free. Yeah.
They had to, like, force Alexander to say, give it to them for 8 weeks for free.
Because they find out that he was the one who was funding everything. Mm-hmm. Because he was like, wait, they broke into the king, like, the royal sector? Yeah. They weren't supposed to bomb that.
They took
it too far. And in order for him not to get hanged, basically, for treason, they're like, okay, you have to provide the moonflower for the next, like, I think it was like 8 weeks or something.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Like, and it's for everyone. The poor, the rich, whatever. You have to provide this for everyone. And your little companion chick who was helping you too, she has to help too. So I think the story ends with him saying, okay, we're going to do that. And Tessa, Wes, and the king coming to, like, an understanding, and Harrison, who was helping them, like, get the moonflower, and Tessa, Wes, and the king coming to, like, an understanding, and Harrison, who was helping them, like, get the moonflower, and Tessa, Wes, and the king coming to, like, an understanding, and Harrison, who was helping them, like, get the moonflower, and Tessa, Wes, and the king coming to, like, an understanding, and Harrison, who was helping them, like, get the moonflower, and Tessa, Wes, and the king coming to, like, an understanding, and Harrison, who was helping them, like, get the moonflower, and Tessa, Wes, and the king coming to, like, an understanding, and Harrison, who was helping them, like, get the moonflower, and Tessa, Wes, and the king coming to, like, an understanding, and Harrison, who was helping them, like, get the moonflower, and Tessa, Wes, and the king coming to, like, an understanding, and Harrison, who was helping them, like, get the moonflower, and I think that's just how it ends.
Yeah, so they decide finally Prince Corrick isn't going to do, like, the King's Justice thing
Right,
anymore.
He's not going to do that anymore.
King Harrison's going to, like, step up and take over more of those duties. He decided to hire Tessa to work with the doctors.
Yes.
To, like, kind of help out and divvy up what should be divvied up. And I'm pretty sure that's kind of how they left it. Like,
I think it also ended with them gonna try and get Larissa back to the royal sector because she went home.
Oh, okay.
And I think they're going to find her because she has to answer for those fake flowers too. Okay,
first of all, they're not gonna make her do shit because what is Alexander doing?
Exactly.
Nothing.
So this is why I'm thinking maybe she was the main planner of everything because she left right at the right moment when the rebellion got too bad. She was like, I'm out.
It kind of reminds me of like in Harry Potter, the last one, when Draco and his family were like, bye.
Yeah, they're like, deuces. Yep. Basically, she was like, you fight that battle. I'm not fighting it.
Goodbye. But yeah, like, I didn't. It was almost like, okay, yes, it ended on a cliffhanger, but it wasn't like super like, oh my god, what's gonna happen?
Yeah,
it was just like, okay, ended.
Because it could have just ended.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, they came to a compromise. The people are gonna get some medicine now.
Yeah.
Wes and Tessa are together. The king, is still king. Okay. They're gonna fix up, everything they need to. So I'm really curious as to what's gonna be in book 2.
Right.
Defend the Dawn.
Defend the Dawn, yes.
Which comes out September 13th, which I'm excited for. I can't wait to read it because I'm gonna read it because this book was so good. But I'm curious to see where else this goes. Like, does Lachlan go back on his word with the rebels and it's like, okay, I don't think we're getting enough out of this. Is Larissa, right?
I think it's Lissa. Isn't it Lissa?
Larissa?
Lissa? I don't know.
Lissa,
okay.
Marpetta.
Yeah.
And like, what is her... What hand does she have in everything? Because we always see Alexander, like, at the front of everything. He's the one who, like, provokes everything.
Yeah.
He's a bad person. But she's always been on the sly. Like, she's quiet. She doesn't really say anything. She's the real
weasel.
I think so. I really do.
Like, I wish they would have done more to Alexander because it was just like, okay, now you're going to give them medicine for 8 weeks. That's it. You're done. Like, he runs a whole sector. Like, why?
I have a question, though. Do you think... I'm getting some love vibes.
Ooh, from who?
Between... Hear me out. Okay. King Harrison and...
Quint?
Yes.
Yes. I thought the same. So, at first, when we started to meet Corrick, I thought Corrick and Quint may have kind of had that kind of relationship, but obviously we find out that's not true. So I wasn't thinking Harrison, but I was thinking Quint was someone.
I think Quint. So Quint is basically
so cute.
Quint's job is like he's
the master of the house.
Yeah, he's like knows like all the info, like what do you call those people that with the scrolls and stuff? I always think of him as someone with like scrolls and writing notes and knowing about everyone.
I was just thinking of him being like the leader of like the servants. He knows everyone that's in the palace. He knows when to bring the king and the king's justice food. Like he knows all the information. He sets up meetings. He's like
master of all kind of thing. And I only say that because when Quint, who is Corrick's best friend, jumps in the way of the arrow getting to King Harrison, and like he gets hurt, and the way like the king kind of like helps him and like tends to him, and I'm like,
oh my god,
I think maybe they like each other.
That's so cute. I like it.
Which I would love. And then
Brigid, are you listening?
And then I feel like that might be what the tension is between Alexander and the king.
Okay.
Because maybe like they had a relationship and then they had a falling out because
they were really close.
They were very close growing up. And then because his father, the previous king, and Alexander's dad had like that falling out. That's why they probably kind of broke up, because he was like, hey, your dad kind of embarrassed my dad kind of thing. And I don't know. And that's why they've always butted head and always had this like tension and hate for each other, because maybe they did have a relationship. But I think Quint and the king kind of like...
I like it. And I'm here for it. I want to see it happen.
I love it.
I mean, it's probably too late now if it's not the case.
I know. But I felt like some romantic...
I did feel something with Quint. I just couldn't put my hand on it. But I felt like there was something going on with him.
And I think that's why the king finds him so annoying. It's because he really likes him.
Oh, that's so cute.
Right? Isn't that cute? And I think Quint likes to bother him on purpose, too. He's like, look at me. You know, kind of thing. I don't know. I just get those vibes. But I really, really am like, I really, really like this book.
Same.
And if they do end up together, I'll be so happy.
I would be too. You said it. You said it first, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
We'll see.
We'll see. I'm going to have to read that book. I can't wait. September can't come fast enough.
Yeah.
But then it can, because then I go back to work and I don't want to, so.
No. Let's enjoy the summer first.
Let's enjoy the summer and all the books we're going to read.
Yes.
But yes, I really love Defy the Night. I love the characters. I love Korik and his transformation and like coming, being true to himself finally and just expressing himself. I love that Tessa, although she made me mad, she was a strong female character. Yeah. Although she had those like save me moments, I feel like she's really trying to help the people like her parents were trying to do. Yeah. And I like the side character like Quint. I love some of the royal guards. They were pretty funny.
Rocco.
Yeah, they were pretty good. Yeah.
A lot of the characters had like complexity. Like they were just so like you felt the troubles, like the pressures and everything between the king, like within himself, like trying to be good, but trying to be stern. The same with Korik, trying to be good, trying to be stern. And then Tessa, like, do I want a revolution? Do I not want a revolution?
Exactly.
So, it was interesting.
And how far would they take it?
Yeah.
Was she gonna be part? Because when she thought Wes was dead, she didn't want to be an outlaw. She wanted to be a rebel. She wanted to blow shit up. She wanted to fight back. So I'm happy she, like, didn't do that. And she kind of was just like, no, that's not the right way to go about things. So it could have changed dramatically. But I enjoyed it. I really liked the characters. I love that Korik and Wes are the same person. So I didn't have to lose
so
Wes.
Upset. I think that would have ruined it for me.
I think it would have been hard to like Korik and her together. Just because I loved how her and Wes were together. So I'm happy like they wound up being the same
And it wasn't
person.
like the typical like betrothed. Like they didn't have a princess that was lined up to be with Korik or Harrison.
Right.
It was just, she was just a poor person. She was just there trying to help. And they love each other.
It's so cute. Mind your medal. Mind your medal, Tessa.
Yes.
All right. So that's it for this episode. We hope you enjoy it. And if you haven't read Defy the Night, I hope... Well, this is basically a spoiler for you. Yeah. But maybe you still want to read it.
I mean, I think if people are listening to us, they already know that we completely spoiled.
Yes, we did. So hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we did. Tell us what your favorite book trope is in the comments. Give us some books with some really good book tropes. A good enemies to lovers, friends to lovers. Maybe there's a, forced proximity book that you really like. Or there's not many, but sharing one horse. give us the sharing one horse, because I like those.
That's so funny. Oh, you know what? Fate of Wrath and Flame. That has a good one-horse trope.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
The one-horse trope?
One-horse trope.
So, yes, tell us what your favorite book tropes are. We would love to hear it. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.